Critical Role Campaign 3 isn't connecting with viewers, but does that really matter? Campaign 3 is down in viewership for the second year in a row across Twitch and YouTube.
I've really enjoyed Campaign 3. In fact, it's my first campaign to really tune in and watch week after week. So when I saw this, I was really surprised, thinking that can't be true. It can't be true that Critical Role's Campaign 3 is not doing so well compared to other campaigns. In fact, this is something we've talked about on the channel. Is Campaign 3 as good as Campaign 1 or Campaign 2? So I dug into their Twitch channel numbers. Looking at the numbers, we find something pretty interesting. 2018 is when they started airing Campaign 2. We saw a massive jump from 2018 to 2019, where they went from 1.29 million views to almost 10 million. And in 2021, we had Campaign 3, which aired in October at the end of that year. And that year, 2021, was their absolute best year ever. Only 227 hours streamed, but overall 46,000 average viewers and 10.9 million views. Since then, how is Campaign 3 doing? Well, again, like I said, I've really enjoyed it, and it seems like the players have really enjoyed it, but have people on Twitch enjoyed it as much? Looking at 2022, we saw that they streamed 446 hours, and the total views are pretty good at 8.7 million views. But in 2023, which we just wrapped up, what does it look like? They streamed 711 hours total with an average viewership of 8,272 and only 5.88 million views, about half of their peak total views back in 2021. So what's going on? What's happening to Critical Role, and more specifically, Campaign 3?
Every time anything remotely bad happens to Bell's Hells, a cameo from a level 20 Vox Machina or Mighty 9 character shows up and saves the day.
That specific critique is not true if you've watched Campaign 3. In fact, there is almost no point where a level 20 character from previous campaign swoops in and saves the day. Now, you could argue this in the case of a certain character who had died and was brought back to life. However, this all came through the means of the story. The party themselves had to go to another realm to effectively save that character's life. They wanted to save the character. That character wanted to keep playing their character. And the level 20 character was like the end of the quest means of reviving said character, but there was no swooping in. In fact, at no other point in the campaign does a level 20 character come in and just what's the expression, Deus Ex Machina? Like, it doesn't happen. It just does not happen in this campaign.
Others blamed the group's constant side quests and refusal to advance the main story, which saw them in 2023 still not on Ruidus.
This criticism is unfortunately very true. There are many times in Campaign 3 where the pacing just feels kind of off. It feels like there is this ultimately crazy urgent thing that's supposed to happen, and yet the party is distracted by other things. It's a side quest here, or we need to go there. And there's definitely a few points that even me, as someone who has adored Campaign 3, that I have said, let's go. Let's get going. Let's get back to the quest. Let's make this happen. Part of that is kind of the pain point around the overall story of Campaign 3. You have this world-altering event, but there's a massive power gap. Just from like a DM perspective, you have a massive power gap between your players and the end quest. They're supposed to go fight Ludnus and Predathos and go to Ruidus, and it is this hundreds and hundreds year old wizard that they're supposed to battle, and yet the party's level 8. Well, now they're level 11, I think. So the party can't just go straight from point A to point B. So some of these side quests have had to happen just to bridge that power discrepancy. But from a viewer perspective, it has created this weird sensation of, what are we waiting on? Like, what's the next thing that's going to pop up that's going to keep us from getting to our end goal? All that to say, does any of this really matter all that much? I don't know. I don't know if it really does. At the end of the day, Matt has said it himself. He does Critical Role so that his players have fun.
You know, that's kind of the core of everything. Is I'm not trying to make these stories for you guys. Sorry. I'm making them for them, and then hopefully you like it too.
This is what a great DM cares about. It's the people who are actually at the table. So should we criticize Critical Role for having content that maybe isn't resonating with as much of their viewers as they have previously? Maybe there's something to be said there. But if their players are having a great time and that's really all they care about from the get-go, I say more power to them. What do you think about Campaign 3? Let us know in the comments.